guys, welcome back to my channel, and this is a look that was highly requested on my Instagram page, and you guys all chose this look, so I decided to recreate it for you guys. The first thing that I'm going to start off with is my Smashbox primer water, and I'm just going to let that set before I move on to a regular primer, and the one I'm using is by BareMinerals. And then I'm just going to put that all over my face like I would a lotion. And I just love that primer water because it just keeps my face really hydrated and smooth. And then the eyeshadow palette I'm using today is one of my favorite. It is by Morphe brushes, and it is the 35W palette, and these are all the shades that I'm going to use today. A lot of the cool brown tones. I'm going to take a large fluffy blending brush, and I'm going to take one of the softest cool browns, and I'm just going to place that in the crease area. And you can see that I am putting the same amount of color all along the crease and along the side of the bridge of my nose. So this is just going to be a really good transition color, as well as going to really open up my eyes and make them appear a lot larger. And you just want to make sure to blend that out and make sure that everything is nice and smooth for the next color. And I'm going to go in with my Sigma E40 brush, and this is just slightly smaller than the brush that I was using before. And I'm going to go in with a eyeshadow that's just a tad bit darker than the first one. And I'm just going to basically place that in the same areas that I did my last eyeshadow, except I'm just going to stick to placing it mainly inside the socket of my crease. So I'm trying to give myself some more definition and still keeping it nice and soft. And then it is always good to go back and forth with the brushes just to make sure that everything is nicely blended out and smooth. So I'm just going back in with the original brush that I used, and I'm just going to make sure that everything is nice and soft and just really blended. And then now I am going to switch up the brushes, and I'm taking a very dark brown this time. This is a dark cool tone brown, and I'm going to place that on the socket of my crease, going all the way from the outer crease all the way into the inner crease with the same intensity. And here I am using my Sigma E25 brush, and I love this brush for this, using it in the crease just to make everything really smooth. I actually prefer this over my MAC 217 brush. It is a lot easier to blend out the eyeshadows, and it's a lot softer too, so it doesn't prick the eye. And you can see here that I am switching to my E40 brush, again just to make sure that everything is smooth and really blended out. And then I'm just going to place a nice soft eyeshadow from the palette, a very light highlight shade, right on the brow bones. And this is just going to lift your brows as well as blend out that transition color just a little bit. And then for the lid, I'm using my Sonia Kashuk limited edition Desert Escape palette, and I'm using the very cool tone, the lightest shade, Shimmer. And I'm just going to pack that all along the lid, and that's just going to bring a little bit of brightness to the eye, and I just really love this color. And you want to place most of the color right underneath the crease and just stay right in the lid area all the way to the outer lid space, all the way to the inner lid space. And this eyeshadow wasn't as metallic as I wanted it to be, and it wasn't as silver as I wanted it to be, so I'm just going to go in with my Lorac palette I believe this is the second palette in the silver color, and I'm just going to pack that in the center of the lids with my finger. So I just want to place it mainly on the very balls of the eyelid, and this is just going to make it look a little bit more cool toned and a little bit more metallic. And then I'm going to go in with my favorite gel eyeliner. This is the Makeup Geek gel liner in Immortal. And I am going to create a pretty dramatic wing liner with this. And the brush I'm using is by MAC. It is the 210 brush. And I am using this one because I really want to get right into the lash line, and I am making it very thin. Even though it is very dramatic, I still wanted it to be thin on the actual lash line. And then I'm going to go in with my NYC Liquid Liner right over the black gel eyeliner that I used by Makeup Geek. And this is just going to make it a little bit darker as well as give me a really nice matte finish. So there's going to be no shine to it because even though I really love the Makeup Geek Immortal gel liner, it does have a little tiny bit of sheen to it. So that's why I'm using the NYC on top, just to give it that nice matte finish. It just makes it look a lot darker and more pigmented. So this is the wing liner look. And then for a little bit of sparkle, I'm using my Stila Magnificent Metals eyeshadow, and this one is in Dusty Rose. And I just took a small amount on my finger and I'm just patting it on the lid. And I just like doing this because if you take some on your finger and then pat it onto the lid, it kind of gives you more of a fairy dust look as opposed to more of a metal look. So that's why I like using that. And then the eyelashes I used were from House of Lashes and Iconic, and I just put some of those on. And then the foundation I'm using is by Rimmel. It's the 25-Hour Wear Comfort Serum. And this one is just really good because it gives me nice coverage and it doesn't budge. It stays on all day. And it's just very comfortable because I have dry skin. So that's why I like using this, because it has the comfort serum in it. And I'm just using a Sigma F80 brush for this. And I'm just going to pat that all along my face, kind of bouncing it on like I would a blending brush. And then for highlight, I'm using the Instant Age Rewind by Maybelline. And I am putting it in all the areas that I want to highlight my face. And then to blend everything out, I'm using my Sigma 3D HD Kabuki brush to just really blend out that concealer. I like using this brush because it is pointed, and so you get a lot of control in where you want your highlight to begin and end. So that's why I like to use this sometimes. And now I'm just going to basically mirror what I did in the crease on the lower lash line. And I'm using a Real Techniques shading brush for this. And I'm just going to place that transition color right on my lower lashes and really smoke it out and blend it. I really love this brush for the lower lash line. I think it makes everything so much easier and it just really blends it out effortlessly. And then I'm going to go in with a flat shading brush. And I'm going to place a little bit of that Sonia Kashuk metallic eyeshadow right in the lash line, just for a little bit of sheen, and so that it doesn't look so matte on the lower lash line. And then I'm going to place some of that Immortal gel eyeliner from Makeup Geek right in the waterline. And the reason why I'm using this Immortal gel liner as opposed to just a pencil is because this is waterproof and it's really going to stay black in the waterline. And so that's why I decided to go with this, because I really want it to be very, very black. Sometimes when you use pencil, it kind of moves around and I just didn't want that look. And for that extra glow, I'm using my Pixi Endless Silky Eye Pen in Oyster Glow. And I love these because they are so creamy and very soft and very pigmented. So I'm just going to put that on the very lower lash line in the tear duct area. And this is just going to give me a little bit more glow, brightness to the eyes that I really love. I almost never skip this step. And that is it for the eyes. This is pretty much a completed look. I really like this because it's cool toned, it's very soft, but very dramatic at the same time. And I think it is a beautiful look. I love this. I normally don't use cool tones, but I love this type of cool tone look. And now I'm going to use my Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour palette, and I'm using the cooler tones in the palette, which are the ones here on the very end. And I'm just going to place that in the hollows of my cheeks. I'm just going to contour in the usual areas. And the brush that I'm using is by Sonia Kashuk. I believe it is the number 29 brush. I'm not too sure because the numbers kind of rubbed off, but I love this brush to contour. And then I am going to go in with some highlight. This is my Pixi highlight in number 3, and I'm just using the shades here on the side. And I'm just going to place that on the tops of my cheekbones, as well as on the cupid's bow, on the tip of my nose, and the usual places that I usually highlight. I absolutely love highlight. It is one of my favorite steps in the whole makeup process. And here I'm trying something a little bit different and putting a little bit of highlight on the tops of my brows and as well as on my chin. And for blush, I am using the City Colors blush in Blackberry. This one is the B Matte blush, so it's matte, no shimmer. And I'm just placing that right above the contour. And I really like using this blush for whenever I do cool tone eyeshadow looks because it just really complements the cooler soft gray eyeshadows. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of MAC Myth on my lips just to get them very, very nude. I like to do this whenever I want to lighten up a lip color. And here I am using my Lime Crime Cashmere liquid lipstick. I obviously do not recommend you buying this product because I don't really like the company so much anymore, but this is what I have. A really great dupe for this is LA Splash in Ghoulish if you want to get something that looks practically the same, and it is a lot cheaper. And then I am going to spray my L'Oreal setting spray to complete the look. And I always do that step as well. And this is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed this makeup tutorial. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you in my next makeup tutorial.